Bitcoin right now making a powerful move above $91,000, approaching just this key macro bullish confirmation reversal area. I'm going to show you exactly where that area is on this Bitcoin chart. We've been waiting for it. There's some caution on the short term. I'm going to talk about that. Altcoins. This is altcoins. This is everything excluding Bitcoin. These yellow circles. I'm excited to kind of show you the data here. Going back to 2015, why this one thing that has happened every time has signaled an altcoin bottoming out. And if that is the case right now for altcoins, the altcoin bull market many people are waiting for might be lining up very nicely. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. Let's just jump into the video. I want to start with Bitcoin, and I want to start with a clip. This is from 7 days ago. Check a couple green candles and closing above $92,000. That will completely discount and kind of get rid of this thought that we're entering this bear. 7 days ago, $84,000. We've been waiting for this moment now. If we go to the weekly chart on Bitcoin, that 20-week moving average, that $92,000 area on Bitcoin is such an important. If you actually zoom out on the weekly chart for Bitcoin, this is just such a macro important area, because what I was kind of discussing in that video is breaking below the 20-week moving average and seeing continued resistance below the 20-week moving average is a bear market type of indicator. Many people, as you know out there, have been just like bear market. It's a bear market. I've been on the way opposite side. I think we're just getting started in terms of the cycle. And the way in which Bitcoin has been trading on the macro has I think been signaling very bullish momentum and continuation for a bull market. But needless to say, it's important for Bitcoin to ultimately get back above the 20-week moving average. Similarly, it was important for Bitcoin to get back above the moving average back here in the summer of 2024. And it did, right? We broke above it in kind of the fall of 2024, and it led to all-time highs. We're looking for a similar move right now. $92,000, you can see Bitcoin is approaching. We still have 5 days, 9 hours of this weekly candle. The question: how will the weekly candle close? Below or above the 20-week moving average? The bigger question, and this will take a little bit of time, the weeks that follow, if we close above the 20-week moving average, how will those weeks close? We need consistent closes above the 20-week moving average. A very good example is back here when the reversal was beginning and the confirmation was becoming more sound. That is, you see a weekly candle close there, weekly candle close right here, just testing it. So 3 weeks of just kind of testing right above the 20-week moving average, and then it was blast off. We need to flip that in a very similar sense right now. On the short term, in terms of Bitcoin, there's a little caution of volatility and choppiness just to mentally prepare for. And then we're going to look at the altcoin chart, because the altcoin indicator right now, if you're a macro crypto person, this is becoming very compelling and very urgent. Bitcoin on the daily. I have kind of this scribble going on here because I was, charting this 20-day potentially flipping above the 50-day. That's the move we're looking for. I want to kind of go back and explain why there's potential volatility to the downside. Back into the 80s, people could get bearish. It doesn't mean it's a bearish thing. If we look at, and we were just looking at this area on the weekly chart, right? We saw Bitcoin start flipping things around in September, but notice what Bitcoin was doing. This 20-day crossing above the 50. We have Bitcoin bottoming out, crossing above the 20, the 50, even the 200. Right now, this is exactly what's happening. Bitcoin has just kind of put in this bottom in the 70s. You can see Bitcoin has broken above the 20 in green, the 50 in blue, and now there's 200 in red. So this is precisely what happened back here. Really nice move to the upside. But look at the move back to the downside from swing high to swing low. Ultimately, 11% move to the downside. Pretty good support if you look at this chart on the daily around that 50-day moving average. But needless to say, my point is this, and this is a very good way, if you don't even have to get too deep in the weeds of technical analysis, but using moving averages, when we get 20-day crossing above the 50, I say this often, anticipate a throwback to test the areas for support. And that's what happened here. So in the same exact way, all I'm saying is be very careful here, especially as we're meeting this $92,000 area of resistance on the weekly. Be very careful here for a potential throwback, right, to the moving averages. We could fall back into the 80s. On the flip side, and this is what we would like to see as bulls, if you're a bull out there, we would really like to see continued separation from all the moving averages. Bitcoin really just making a powerful move on the daily chart above 92,000, and then on the weekly, getting separation. We need that cushion, right? So that we can have a throwback to test the 20-week, and we can start talking about it as support rather than where we currently are as resistance. So all of this move, as you can see, even from this video from 7 days ago, it's 84,000. This takes time. All of these moves take time. That's why putting aside emotion is so important. And that's what we're going to continue to do as we kind of work through this bullish environment that I think we're in right now. Because just because we're in a macro bullish environment does not mean that there's not going to be throwbacks, that there's not going to be, uncertainties out there, especially with the tariff stuff that's going on right now, and Fed and Jerome Powell and what he's doing. So that's Bitcoin. Let's look at altcoins. In terms of altcoins, this chart, even get rid of these circles for just a moment. This chart, if you look at it, is signaling to me the altcoin bull market has not even happened. If we can just zoom out on a weekly chart. If you look at a momentum oscillator, this is what a bull market looks like, right? Right there. Even back here, getting just crazy overbought. On the altcoin charts, we've not had it yet. A lot of what we're waiting for is obviously liquidity. We've been tracking M2 Global Liquidity Index. I'm going to show you that in just a moment on the daily chart here, but this is altcoins. This is everything excluding Bitcoin. What are these yellow circles? I've really zoomed out here, and I even went back to 2015, and this is stemming from the Volatility S&P 500 index. And I was actually very curious when I went back to 2015 to see what I found. August 2015, I did not realize there was a very high fear in the markets. And look at the huge wick. This is a monthly chart, by the way. But I marked the bottoms for crypto on this Volatility S&P 500 index, meaning we're getting into these high fear environments. It has marked the bottom for altcoins. So here's one, 2015. Here's one, 2018, the last tariff fear from 2 cycles ago. Here's COVID. And here's the current fear and volatility that we just saw. And look at the wick so far on the monthly. I don't know how the monthly will end. There's still 8 days, 6 hours, but look at that. So all 3 of these previous, high fear environments for altcoins marked the bottom. Here's the August 2015 right here. Altcoins went a little lower, but ultimately they went a ton higher. Here is 2018. That marked the bottom. Here's COVID. That marked the bottom. And here we are once again, everybody. And I'm talking about, we're at the confluence, and I haven't really been talking about these things. I keep saying I'm not talking about it, but we're at the confluence. We have a pro-crypto SEC chairman. He was just sworn in yesterday. We are in this world now where the U.S. administration is so pro-crypto innovation. There is going to be so much liquidity and demand and interest flowing into the space, and altcoins have not had their bull market yet. And with that, altcoins have just survived and even put in a higher low in this high fear, crazy environment. And I know that I talked about this yesterday in terms of the bottoming out in a high fear environment, but I really wanted to illustrate it and show you all of these bottoms on the fear and volatility index. Notice where tops are on this chart. Here's 2017 top. Here's the 2021 top right in here somewhere. We're on the flip side of that. So that's what's happening right now. As crypto is kind of consolidating and going through a lot of uncertainty right now, this is what's happening on the macro. So again, I'm a very zoomed out person. I zoom out on the Bitcoin charts. I zoom out way out on the altcoin charts, and I say, you know what? I think I see the direction in which this is going, and that's how I'm making my decisions. They're very macro-minded. All the while, we can track the zoomed in, and we can anticipate kind of the mental volatility of it all. And that's what I'm looking at here on the Bitcoin chart. So these are my thoughts today. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. If we continue getting price action, I'm going to continue doing more videos. I'll do 2-3 videos a day if I need to, if we get continued price action. So turn notifications on. If you enjoyed this video, please smash the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.